What is going on, everyone? Hadex Gaming here, and in this video I'm going to show you if you had not one, not two, but an army of minions at your side and which one would be the best. So the way this works, I'm going to pit them against Sage and Grit. And then why Sage and Grit is because Sage and Grit are two enemies. They're classified as two different mobs, which will make the targeting of these minions a test. So the minions will be tested on how strong they are, how good their targeting is, and then would you bring them to a fight? So I feel Sage and Grit is the best for this because they're two entities. They have close attacks, fire attacks, and I want to see how they track as the dragons circle each other. So with that out of the way, let's jump into one of the fights now. All right, as you can see, I've got 50 archers, zombie archers. So let's see how well they do against Sage and Grit. Now, before I begin, I forgot to mention, I have a summoning foci, which gives me 20% summon damage, and then Hysteria tablets, which give me 30% summon speed. I've put these on just to speed things up. These are the two summoning items that everyone would use, or they'd be using the balanced frostfire foci. So with that out of the way, I'm going to keep the same for all of the summons and see how well each of them do. Let's begin. I may have to speed it up here. Obviously, these guys aren't putting out a ton of damage, and I'm not locking onto either of the targets. I want to see what the summons do on their own. All right, I'm going to stop it here. These guys aren't dealing too much damage, as you can tell. It's been about 2 or so minutes, and they've done 5% to each dragon. So not great. They kind of scatter all over the place. They're only dealing 1 damage each. Not great in my book. All right, on to the next. All right, then on to the next. We have an army of 50 snowmen from the magic branch. So the summon on a stick dealt 12 damage. The summon on a stick, the brain on a stick, sorry, dealt 12 damage. And then the magic branch does 19. So an extra 7 damage. Let's see how they go up against Sage and Grit. These guys don't really seem to know what to attack. They're spacing themselves out way too much and not really focusing on anything. There we go. When they bunch up and the dragons get closer, they can deal much more damage. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and equipped the Bone Hilt, which increases the armor penetration, and these seem to be doing much more damage now. So, as a summoner, Bone Hilt must be a necessity just to break through the enemy defenses. And now you can see that they're killing the enemies much faster. Alright, I think we've seen enough of the snowmen, so on to the next. Let me just clean this up and I'll get the next ones on the way. Next up, we've got my personal favorite, which are the slimes. So with each of these slime summons, you get 2 pouncing slimes. So right now I've got 100 slimes surrounding me. So let's see how they go up against Sage and Grit. This is just way too funny to look at. At the moment, they can't get close to any of the dragons. It just looks like such a mess. Oh my god. They are melting these bosses. Look at them. One down. And just like that, dead. So the slimes seem to be the best minion at the moment, but we've still got 3 more to go. So let's get them tested and let's jump into the next. Next up, we've got 50 vultures. So the slimes did 24 damage. These do 22 damage, but let's see how they pit up against Sage and Grit. Whoa, a ton of damage from when they pass through, but they're just not quick enough to be able to deal consistent damage. So when they come together, it may be a lot of damage. Yeah, there we go. Look at the damage dealt. Vultures are definitely putting in the work. Yeah, definitely on par with the slimes. If I was to take any summon, I'd probably take the slimes because they're my favorite. But overall better, I think, would be the vultures. Next, we've got the cryo staff. So let me summon them in and we'll jump back in. Okay, we are back with the cryo staff, and these are by far the coolest to look at when they're idle. As you can just see, they just shredded that enemy that came to me. So let's see how these pit up against Sage and Crit. They do 26 damage each and are a ranged summon. So way more than the vulture and their range. So they should kill them faster. We'll find out. Already dealing a ton of damage. It's consistent chip damage. So this kind of boss would, this kind of minion would be good in a boss where you're constantly running around and avoiding the boss, maybe like the Ice Queen, or even the Fallen Wizard. So they're dealing a lot of consistent damage over time, just not hard hitting like the other two were. All right, there we go. They took down that one fairly reliably. If you combine that with another weapon, that'd be a great summon as well. Not as good as the slime or the vulture staff, but I think that just depends on the boss you're targeting. These ones would be better on a boss that's maneuverable, whereas the other two are better on ones that come towards you. So, finally, the last one is the skeleton staff. So these summon a pair of skeletons that each deal 24 damage. So you've got a melee summon skeleton and a ranged summon skeleton. So let's jump into that and we'll find out what the final summon is like with an army. All right, we're back and this is absolutely crazy to look at. We've got red versus blue team, or 100 summons, because each one of these 50 has 2. So there is 100 little skeletons here waiting to destroy. When I said bring an army, this is the army. Let's see how they go. All right, the rangers are doing a ton of damage, but I feel like where the melee ones are going to shine is when the dragons come close. Yep, dealing much more damage when they come close, but still not as good as the other summons. All right, definitely not the best summon, but it is really fun to look at with them all running around all crazy like. So, out of the way, I'm going to rank these. So let's go, and I'm going to rank them from the worst. Brain on a stick. Next, I would say is the magic branch. The slimes at the top, then the vulture, then the cryonis, and then that one. So, here is the order from best to worst. You've got the swamp's grasp, the vulture staff, cryo staff, skeleton staff, brain on a stick. Oh, sorry, wrong way around. Magic branch, then brain on a stick. Brain on a stick looked cool because they're all zombies, but I think the skeletons look cooler than them because there's actually 100 of them. So let's go quickly to a training dummy and see what damage they can do on a training dummy. All right, we've got 50 zombies onto the training dummy. DPS is looking about 1600, 1700. Yeah, I'd say 1700 is the average. Oh, hang on, it's getting higher. It's getting higher. All right, 1750, 1800. That seems to be the average for these ones. So let's get rid of them and summon the snowmen. All right, we've got all the snowmen summoned, and they deal... Already dealing a ton more. That's super satisfying to watch. About 2,100, 2,150. All right, on to the next. All right, the next, being in order of what I rated them as, is the skeleton staff, and they do 4,000? Can we hit 4,000? Will they hit 4,000? Or is it just shy of 4,000, about 3,800? Oh, 3,900 there. Alright, not hitting 4,000 mark, but definitely the highest we've seen yet. Look at all the melee ones circling it and then the archers sitting around. That's sweet. Alright, on to the next is the cryo staff. Alright, I can't get enough of just looking at these things circle me and like their like clockwise, counterclockwise rotation. But let's see how they do against training dummy. Oh, that looks wicked. They're just ganging up on that. About 2,400, 2,300 as an average. Not great, but accurate. And that's probably why these things shine better than the zombies, is because they're accurate and they're consistent. All right, on to the next is the vulture. All right, we're back with 50 vultures. Let's see how they go. That one spasmed me. Let's see how they go against the training dummy. 2,682. Skeletons definitely put out more if the target is stationary, but they just couldn't keep up. So the damage numbers you're seeing here, as you saw before, don't equate to how much damage they do against bosses. So keep that in mind when using summons. All right, so about 2,500, 2,550, maybe 2,600. Let's jump on to my favorites, which is the slimes. I'm excited to see these damage numbers because there's 2 slimes for every summon. All right, how much damage will 100 slimes do against this dummy? 4,500 is the biggest amount we've seen at a time. Obviously, they're scattered in attacks, so you'll never get like a clear estimate. But 3,500 is looking like the average though. Definitely the most consistent. Also definitely the highest hitting. I'd say slimes are definitely the best summon. That just destroyed that. And then why not for the last sake, let's get Sage and Grit back in here and give them another whirl. Except let me focus one at a time. All right, let's focus on you. I want to see how they go when they're focused. Not great, they're just charging around the place in circles. Dealing no damage. Oh, there we go. Nearly killed half each instantly. Somehow killing Sage faster than Grit, and Grit was the targeted one. Yep, killed Sage first, and Grit was the targeted one. And just like that, Grit insta-died when driving through him. All right, with that out of the way, that is this video. If you've got any other ideas you want to see, let me know down in the comments below. This game is a ton of fun and I am enjoying it, along with my swamp and slime army. So until next time, I'll see you then. Bye, guys.